Hey everyone, my name is Christian DeLupa here with PC Mech, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Final Fantasy IX for mobile. Now, Final Fantasy IX is arguably the culmination of the Final Fantasy series, and it boasts the highest score of all the games on Metacritic. It also has a sense of nostalgia about it, and it would be impossible to say that Final Fantasy IX can be skipped if you're a fan of the Final Fantasy series. Now, before going into detail about the game, it's important to note that it will take up a pretty massive 4 GB of space on your device. However, in order to install it, you'll need actually double that, 8 GB free. It is better to make sure that you're either downloading over Wi-Fi or you have unlimited data, otherwise you'll be using up your data pretty quickly. Installing the game itself doesn't take too long, however the game does take a few minutes to initiate after it's opened for the first time. Of course, all of this is to be expected considering how big of a game it really is. Once you're able to access the game, you'll learn how to use the controls and a little bit about the premise of the game. You'll also input the name for the character and so on. Now, the controls of Final Fantasy IX for mobile are actually really easy to use. Instead of simply plastering controls over the top of the display, users can drag their finger across any area of the screen or tap anywhere on the screen to cause movement. When the user finds themselves near something they can interact with, then controls to talk to someone or return to exploring will appear on the screen. Other controls will also appear when they're required, something that makes the game quite easy to navigate. Final Fantasy IX isn't a game to be played for the graphics, but there are still things to say about them nonetheless. A part of the mobile version of the game is high-definition movies and character models, according to the developer Square Enix, and it certainly lives up to its name. Sure, it's obviously animated, and you would be forgiven for thinking that the graphics are exactly the same between this version and the original. That's not necessarily a bad thing though, as it falls in line with the charm and nostalgia surrounding the game. Of course, the graphics also couldn't get much better because of how big the game already is. For such a large and long game, technically great graphics would seriously increase how large the files associated with the game are. And besides, this is the Final Fantasy IX we all know and love. We don't want it messed around with too much. The mobile version of the game also offers a number of other cool features, including autosave, achievements, and a number of game boosters, which are basically cheats. These cheats will enable you to speed up the game so you can get through it quicker, cutting out characters in the game, and ensuring that when you hit enemies you do 9,999 damage. The goal of this is basically to ensure that the game, which would otherwise take hours and hours to complete, is easier for casual gamers to enjoy as well. Of course, you don't have to use cheats, and you can just go through the game as you would otherwise. Final Fantasy IX is a classic game, and one of the things that I appreciate most is that it hasn't been changed too much for this release. Changes to the game have been more to enable for better gameplay on a mobile device, rather than to change how the game works or operates. The game is quite easy to control, and while it takes up a lot of space on your device, fans of the Final Fantasy series should definitely consider buying the game. Of course, the only real downside is the $17 price tag it costs to buy it, far more than most other apps on the Google Play Store. But again, this is a small price to pay for the nostalgia in playing Final Fantasy IX on your Android device. Thanks for watching. Again, my name is Christian DeLupa here for PC Mech, and we will see you next time.